Hey everyone, it's a hot summer's day in August of 2019, but I am here at Memorial Park Cemetery to show you another final resting place, and this is another big one. Standing here underneath the cool shade of a gigantic pecan tree. Right next to it is who we're looking for. So this is the final resting place for Leon Russell. And he passed away November 13th, 2016, but they spent some time raising funds for this memorial. And it's very unique for this cemetery. It's completely different. It's a grand piano, and then it has a picture of him there. Fantastic picture, actually. He was quite the musician. As you can see, he's been well visited. There are a lot of coins down here below. So there's been people visiting from all over. People have even placed some rocks here, I see. And then there's a little guitar and a little cross right here and a heart trinket right here. Leon just has this little plot area all by himself. There are a couple benches that are in there beside his memorial marker, and one of them has a top hat underneath it that's from Christmas. You can see the holly on it. But there's also a bench that's been installed right across from him so you can sit down and just have a visit with him. So this is the memorial marker for Russell. Like I said, it's an upright grand piano, completely different than anything else that you'll see in this cemetery. It says Leon Russell, Claude Russell Bridges, April 2nd, 1942 to November 13th, 2016. When my life is over, remember we were together. We were alone and I was singing this song for you. This is quite the marker. It's a fantastic memorial. Maybe one of the best that you'll see for an entertainer. He had a lot of people raising funds for him, and it took quite a while, but they did get it done. This is an old ashtray that's sitting up here. It has a dime in it. That's what that is an ashtray. Like I said, there's a couple benches here that you can sit on that are right beside him. And then there's this larger bench here. You almost have to wonder if there'll be aspiring musicians that'll come out here and sit on these benches and discuss things with him, try to get some inspiration from him, and maybe play a little bit of music on these benches here. You never know. It's almost like his friends and people that cared about him designed it that way for aspiring musicians and songwriters and producers to just come out here and maybe draw some inspiration from the stillness and the quietness and the wind, all the grass and the flowers and the plants and the trees out here. Leon Russell was a talented musician and songwriter who collaborated with many artists, including Bob Dylan, George Harrison, the Rolling Stones, Elton John, and so many more. His career lasted for almost 60 years, and he was born as Claude Russell Bridges on April 2nd, 1942 in Lawton, Oklahoma. He began playing the piano at the age of 4. Russell began his musical career at the age of 14 in 1956 in the nightclubs of Tulsa, Oklahoma. He and his group, the Starlighters, were instrumental in creating the style of music known as the Tulsa Sound. Russell took the name Leon from his friend who lent him a fake ID to get him into the club since he was too young. He attended Will Rogers High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma, as did many other musicians including Anita Bryant, David Gates, and Elvin Bishop. In the 1960s, Russell became a session musician in Los Angeles, playing piano for many notable recording artists. By the late 1960s, he was a successful arranger and songwriter. Leon played many instruments including the piano or keyboards, guitar, bass guitar, and various horns. As a pianist, he played on the Beach Boys albums, and in 1970 he had become a solo recording artist with his first album including Eric Clapton, Ringo Starr, and George Harrison. Elton John was one of his biggest fans and once opened for him. He also said that he was a mentor and an inspiration to himself. Later on in 2010, the two would record an album together, The Union, earning them both a Grammy nomination. Russell produced and played in many recording sessions for artists such as Frank Sinatra, Ike and Tina Turner, and he wrote hit songs for artists like Joe Cocker. Leon was in all sorts of genres, and he had a true love and passion for all types of music. His list of music artists that he worked with is really too long to list them all in this video. In 1972, Russell purchased the Church Studio located on the corner of 3rd Street and Trenton in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was home to the Shelter Records. Some of the musicians that recorded there include Willie Nelson, Eric Clapton, Bonnie Raitt, Dwight Twilley, Dr. John, J.J. Cale, The Gap Band, Freddie King, Peter Tosh, and Tom Petty. His A Song for You has been recorded by more than 200 artists, and his song This Masquerade by more than 75. During his career, he recorded 33 albums and at least 430 songs. He had 6 gold records and received 2 Grammy Awards from 7 nominations. In 2011, he was inducted into both the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Russell died in his sleep at his suburban Nashville home in Mount Juliet, Tennessee on November 13, 2016 at the age of 74. In 2010, he had undergone surgery, and in July of 2016, he had suffered a heart attack in which he was still trying to recover from. He left behind 6 children and his second wife, Jan Bridges. Leon has been interred here at Memorial Park Cemetery in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He truly was an Oklahoma legend and a music legend on many different levels. If you want to know where he's located right near the back of the cemetery where the pond or the lake is. He's in pretty good company. This right over here is a memorial chapel over here. And I believe, I visited before, but I believe these people standing over here are at the final resting place for Bob Wills. But he's in good company back here. It's not far over this way somewhere, and you have a famous comedian, and this is the lake right here, and you can see these mausoleums right here. And if you're into fishing, you will see Jasper Hole in this mausoleum here, and in the far corner right over this way you'll see Roy Clark, famous musician that appeared on Hee Haw. Beautiful area of the cemetery. There's really not a bad area of the cemetery. This is interesting right here. I don't know if this is some kind of well house, filtration house or something like that, pump house, because it does have some piping over here, so maybe it filters this pond water. But it's interesting how they've created this rock structure here to cover up this whole area, and it looks like they have flower beds right here, and everything's dead right now. It's the heat of the summer, but this is like some sort of big volcanic rock. There's all these little pits and everything in it. It's pretty good size. I would say the top of that up there is probably a good 20 foot. There's a door that's locked here, and like I said, there's a bunch of piping and stuff right here like that. So I'm not sure what it is, but pretty interesting. It all sits right across from Leon Russell. So if you're trying to find his final resting place, it's really easy to find. There's quite a few other people in this cemetery that you might find interesting as well as his, but you will not see a marker as magnificent as his in this cemetery. At least my opinion. There are some great ones in here, but his is really good. Very fitting for him. So this is an old church. In fact, if you look at this cornerstone right here, it says the Church of the United Brethren in Christ, 1928. Now this was Leon Russell's recording studio. He converted this into a studio, and there are many, many artists that have recorded here. Looks like right now they are doing some restoration work, and I believe I read that they're going to convert this back into sort of a studio of what it looked like / a museum dedicated to Russell. I don't know how far along they are on the project or how long they're expecting to take to complete this. But it does have a ways to go. You can see some cracks towards the top, some busted windows through here. Walk around, there's a busted window right up there. But it does look like maybe they're actively doing something on it. This is the side of the church, and you can see many of the windows are boarded up. And down on the far left, there's a door, obviously, that they've blocked in with cinder block, a different kind of brick. But as you look at this church, it looks like it had the stone up front, and then they made an addition to it that was brick. Two different building materials there. So that's pretty interesting. I'm not sure who added that. This is the back side of the church. Not much to explain, just some boarded up windows. And I'm not sure what they're going to do with these things. They're metal and they kind of have a curve to them, an arch or something. So I don't know what they're going to do with that. Going down the side of the building, you can see another doorway here that has been blocked in with cinder blocks. It's interesting because this goes further back than the other side, but it has more of the stone look rather than the brick look. All these windows are boarded up though. No telling what the condition on the inside is like. There's a fence right here. It's obviously been here a while with this ivy growing over it. Look at that light right there. And a wood door peeking over that. What's interesting is these windows are intact. You can even see blinds in there. So it's pretty interesting. Some sort of lattice on that one right there. That one's boarded up with like planks, like fence pickets maybe. It's interesting, next to this cornerstone marker, there does appear to be a spot where a light was there. That's my guess. Pretty high up to be a mailbox, but it has the shape of a mailbox. But I'm gonna guess it was a light. There are also some other brackets that you can see right here. And to me, those look like some sort of lights maybe. And then you can see them further up above the top windows on that kind of third level, so to speak. So I don't know if Russell had some sort of signs there, or if it's just a church sign, or if it was lights. These doors are pretty interesting. They're wooden, but they're starting to fall apart. Time is ticking away on it. There's a light that's kind of broken and dangling up above the door there. It does need some work, but hopefully they can get it done. I'll have to be back here when they turn it into a museum. So we are now at Will Rogers High School. It says home of the Ropers, class of 1966 down there. And this high school was established in 1939 and has been placed on the National Register of Historic Places. And it was dedicated to the class of 1955. So it's really cool to know that there are some school districts that keep the old schools and still use them, especially something this large and magnificent. A lot of tradition here and a lot of history. As you can see, there are 3 floors here, is what it looks like. I did not attend school here, so correct me if I'm wrong. But then it looks like there's kind of a lower level here. And right down out that way is the football field. And they have some newer parts. Part of this is like the junior high, from what I understand. And then around the corner is the baseball field. But I thought I would show you some of this architecture on this. Pretty ornate designs right in through here in between the windows. Really like that. A lot of detail in that. And even in the stonework through here and up there on the corner parts. You can see Will Rogers depicted right there. They have him kind of as the roper, the cowboy, which is their mascot, the Rogers Ropers. But they also have him as the movie star, and then they have an airplane there because he did love to fly. In fact, that's how he was killed. Went down in a plane crash in Point Barrow, Alaska with Wiley Post. But they have an oil lamp right here. Pretty neat designs, and check out these lights. Aren't those some cool lights? I don't know what's up there, but it makes you think maybe there's one classroom up there or something, or a couple. That goes higher than the 3rd level right up there. And not only that, there's a flagpole on top. This is a big school. A lot bigger than the school that I attended. Over at this other entrance, they have another plaque designating that it's on the National Register of Historic Places. They also have a couple other figures right there. I'm not really exactly sure who those are depicting. Maybe just education and all the different things, because I see protractor and different things for drafting and just learning. A globe. I see some buildings, so maybe for some architecture, and I see planes and I see oil derricks, so not sure. If you know anything about that, leave a comment below. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. If you enjoy these types of videos, please check out the other ones that I've done in Memorial Park Cemetery.